Hello, everybody. Let's take a look at some vinyl from my collection. I have probably maybe 2,000, maybe 3,000 albums. They are in no particular order, and I have anything ranging from classic rock to jazz, R&B, country, and classical. So let's go ahead and get started with Bachman Turner Overdrive. This is Freeways. This is a good album that came out back in 1977. And the opening song, Freeways, will really get your attention. It's a really good song. Here's a good female-fronted band, Salem 66. Next up is Fuzz Tones, She's Wicked. If you listen to this record, it reminds you of something you'd hear at somebody's Halloween party, or maybe something you hear outside of a funhouse at an amusement park just before you're ready to go in. But I really enjoy this album. Up next is the first album from the Doobie Brothers. If you listen to this back to back with, let's say, Minute by Minute by the Doobie Brothers, you'll see how much their sound has changed throughout the years. But I do highly recommend this album. It's called the Doobie Brothers. Next we have Burzum, kind of a death metal, black metal offering. Haven't listened to this very much, but I will get around to listening to it more. Here's an iconic album from the Electric Light Orchestra. This is Face the Music. It has Evil Woman and Strange Magic on it, so that should tell you what a good album that is. There's Jeff Lynne and the Boys. Highly recommend that one. Coming up we have Disappear Fear. Haven't had a chance to listen to that too much, but I've got plenty of time on my hands as I am taking a vacation, and we'll get caught up on some listening. This is Flash. I'll cover more of this type of music later. Great performer, great singer, Boz Scaggs. You can't beat this guy. He's done so many great songs throughout the years, and this is one of his early albums. This is Boz Scaggs, Slow Dancer. Here is an album we all recognize. This is the Rolling Stones' Goat's Head Soup. I think the song Angie is on this. This contains a little mini poster that has a picture of a boiling pot of goat's head soup in it. Not very appetizing, but the music is good. So there you go. If you're a Rolling Stones fan, you got to have that one. This is a fusion band known as Brand X, and this is called Will It Hurt? Pretty good album. I'm going to go through these fast, and if there's something you want to have a different presentation on, just let me know. This is Bob Dylan at Budokan, the first live album I've ever heard from the great Bob Dylan. Highly recommended. Herbie Mann, jazz flutist. This is a good album called Man in the Morning. I love his stuff. One of the greatest jazz jazz vocalists ever is Eddie Jefferson. The Manhattan Transfer also mentions that as well, that Eddie Jefferson is one of the greatest jazz singers ever. This is a 2-record set that I think everybody should have in their collection. Mr. Eddie Jefferson. My third favorite Elton John album, Madman Across the Water, contains the songs Leave On and Tiny Dancer. This is my third favorite because Tumbleweed Connection and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road are on top of that. I like to refer to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road as Elton John's White Album, and I'm sure he would probably agree to that. But this is a really, really fascinating record. Wonderful pianist and great singer. Coming up with some more jazz, this is Paul Horn. Maybe a little hard to see that cover, but it's kind of a connect by dots kind of drawing. Here we have Lapsley. Very good singer. I don't know much about her. I went to the music store and bought this album on a whim, and I kind of like what I heard, so I will be listening to more of that later. Some more jazz. This is Rob McConnell, trombone player. Probably 1/4 of my collection is jazz, so get used to seeing that genre as I do these presentations. This is Dyke Parks. Any of you who know Brian Wilson are familiar with this gentleman. What I like about this record is it not only came with an album, but they also sent an accompanying CD as opposed to an MP3 download code. I wish more albums would do this. And this is, I haven't even had a chance to listen to this yet actually, but I have listened to other albums by Van Dyke's, and I'm sure I'm going to like that. Here's a great one. This is Johnny Winter. This is Second Winter. A good album. I like both Johnny and Edgar Winter. And I enjoyed that album very much. And we're down to the last album that I will be showing you. This is A History of Sparks. Sparks is one of my favorite bands. They've had a lot of changes in sound and in personnel throughout the years. They kind of do novelty rock, and then they had a spell where they did really hard rock. The album Big Beat is the one I would recommend if you want just a good, solid rock album. And they even released a disco album with Giorgio Moroder. This Greatest Hits compilation contains all three of those musical genres. And so if you want to start listening to Sparks, I suggest you go ahead and listen to The History of Sparks, or if you just want to jump right in, check out an album called Big Beat. Well, that's it for now. I will be showing you some more vinyl. I hope you enjoyed what you've seen, and thanks, and have a good day.